And welcome back to Tea Time Disc Golf. Steve Bro with Devin Frederick.
How's it going, everybody?
And we are covering round 3, final round action of Maple Hill, the MVP Open, presented by sponsor. They've done a fantastic job this weekend in taking up the reins and having it the inaugural MVP Open. Couldn't be happier with seeing their stuff all over the place and their participation in this thing. As well as the Dodge family and everybody involved in feeding us and parking and everything that they do. So what a successful weekend we've had, and we're going to give you the final coverage, final 9 of the round 3.
Yeah, we have Eagle McMahon, Matty O, Kevin Jones, and local Zach Longeill.
Yeah, so we're going to be, they've gone through the front 9, and we have Eagle, who has 4 birdies on the front 9 and 1 bogey, and him and Matty O are kind of taken off on this card. What has Matty O done here?
Matty O's been a little up and down. He's had 3 bogeys, 3 birdies, sitting at even, so he'll be looking to get hot on the back.
To make some moves. And Zach's struggling a bit. We'll see if he can't pick up the pace a little bit and get some birdies running through this back 9. And then Kevin is birdieing and bogeying as well. He's kind of all over the place, but throwing some amazing shots, and we're seeing a lot of excitement out of Kevin.
Yeah, there's he's a young player trying to find himself out there. He's super aggressive. I think once he learns to calm down a little bit and get a little bit more conservative, you'll see him up at the top of the leaderboard consistently.
Yeah, he'll score a little bit better. This is one of those holes, speaking of scoring, that has changed over the years. They've put it back into somewhat of the original position, moving the tee box back just a bit. Certainly an advantage to the guys that can throw 500 feet, because they're actually looking to this hole, where the rest of the field is going to be just at that circle 2 edge, putting uphill at this. So this hole definitely has some teeth, but what a beautiful golf hole.
Yeah, this is huge uphill shot. The hole is 380, and it probably playing close to 500 or maybe even
has
more.
To be. Yeah, and it's amazing to see some of the big arm players just look at this and they're almost salivating, because you've got this nice big hyzer that they can throw all the way up to the basket without too much effort, it looks like, where the rest of the people are definitely, if it's a 2, it's going to be a bonus 2.
Yeah, you could see Eagle hitting the banner and getting a roll away. That's one of the things you gotta kind of watch out for on this hole, is hitting that wall and rolling away. It tends to happen more often than not.
And more often on your second shot than your first.
Depending who you are.
Yeah.
And I was talking to Kevin earlier this weekend, and he said he loves this hole. This hole plays right into his game. He loves that there's a hole that, he feels like he can gain a stroke on 75% of the field, if not more than that.
Almost all the field is going to be getting the 3 here, and very minimal 2s. But you can see there that he's just outside the circle, so that was a fantastic shot by Zach.
And big uphill putt out of Matty.
Oh,
close.
Kept him right there. Kept him right there, though. You don't want to be long behind this basket, because then, as you can see, you do have a death putt looking right back over the castle wall.
And good little bid out of Eagle. I'm sure he's disappointed. He hit the wall and ended up in the Christmas trees with a very difficult putt.
Yeah, he kind of felt like he should have been right there for the 2, and he is going to take a 3 and miss out on 2ing this hole. And Zach ran that by real good, but thank God on his approach again, he kept it right there. So that was a 2 to a 4, unfortunately for Zach. And we have Eagles going to clean up his par. And Eagle did get the 2 on this hole the last 2 rounds, so certainly an expected 2 out of him. Kevin's going to tap in his 2 pretty easily, and he's going to walk away playing the hole just as good as you can play it.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what a lot of these guys are going for, just driving it up to the wall and making your easy putt.
Yeah, and you can see, God, the flexibility and the way that he releases that. It's just so impressive.
Yeah, he puts a lot of torque on the disc. So
Yeah, we have Eagle, who is going to get the par. We have Kevin, who's going to get the easy birdie there. We have Zach with the 4, and Matt's going to walk away with an easy par there, and they're going to move on to hole number 11. Hole number 11 is a beast. It's a 780-foot shot that you can go ahead and play right over the tops of these Christmas trees. They have taken out quite a bit of the Christmas trees on the right-hand side since last year, so that's a really good landing zone to be in. It's unfortunate that these last big Christmas trees are in the perfect space to mess with these guys as they throw their big shots. So the landing zone is crucial to get a second shot into this tight gap. And what is a rough green, too. It is not an easy green.
Yeah, it's a tight little mouth you're trying to get through after your drive. You'll see Eagle and Kevin, I'm sure, trying to get within probably 100 feet of that and making an easy putter shot. For many other players, you're going to be almost 300 away from the pin, throwing a fairway driver, maybe a mid-range in.
And Kevin almost hitting one of the bags from the other group that was up there, because they do allow you to tee off on this hole while the other group is putting out, because it is such a big hole. But Kevin left that very far to the right, and it ended up in a pretty good spot. He went around those big trees at the end, much like what you're seeing Eagle do. They're both very close to each other, and they're gonna fight to get a forehand into that green.
MPO putting a good move on this one. And he's in the small Christmas trees, but he shouldn't have a problem with his swing or anything like that.
He should be okay there. He should be able to get off a clean shot into that gap. And Zach trying to get this thing to turn to the right a little bit. You don't want to be too far to the left into the bigger Christmas trees like he is there, because that's where you really get into some trouble trying to get a good arm swing through your next shot to get into that gap.
And yeah, trying to navigate the tips of the Christmas trees isn't always easy either.
Matty put that way up high. It looks like he was almost trying to go over the top, and it looks like his disc got in there pretty good, just a little roll away.
It landed about circle's edge and rolled back a little on him.
Let's see, Zach puts one up there to the right, but he is going to have a barricaded putt with those trees right in the way. Very, very hard to get his 3 or birdie on this hole. Eagle electing to go with the backhand putter. And what a great shot.
Yeah, from where he was,
wow.
Way to the right, he had to bend something into that gap, which isn't always the easiest shot.
And wow, what an amazing shot out of Kevin, too. Both of those guys just absolutely puring that approach shot to put them well inside the circle, and both of those guys should be looking at an easy birdie.
And you can see how Zach's putt was obstructed with the trees right inside the circle.
Yeah, he'll be able to settle for par from there. Matty would love to get the birdie here.
And you could see that he knew that was in right out of his hand.
Absolutely. Yeah, what a great putt. Very controlled putt. He doesn't put a lot of power on it. It's a really kind of spin touch putt that Matty has, which is something that a lot of people wish they had.
And yeah, Zach, Eagle, and Kevin will all be cleaning up. Kevin and Eagle for their birdies. MPO getting his birdie.
Yeah, and Zach's going to walk away with a par, but really good scoring on this hole out of the entire group. With 3 birdies on the card, you don't see that very often.
Yeah, all these guys have the distance off the tee to make this hole just a little bit easier, which is nice.
Well, Matty and Zach were both pretty far back into those Christmas trees. For them to be able to get up and down and Matty to get the birdie was quite impressive. So we're going to move on to hole number 12. This is no easy task. Takes a very controlled driver shot to put this in the right location. Getting down to this green becomes extremely difficult because of a huge downslope. There are a number of players that can actually crest this hill, but most of them are going to be landing short. You can see where this white rock is in the middle of the fairway there. That's where most of these guys are going to be for their landing zone, and then trying to pitch a putter down to the basket. But you are going to see some aggression. This is the final round, so you're going to see these guys really try to get up and rip, and I fully expect for Kevin and Eagle to be able to crest that hill.
Yeah, I think most players off the drive are going to be throwing power hyzer up over the Christmas trees on the right, trying to get near that rock you were talking about. And these guys can get over that crest. If you don't get over that crest, you can't see the basket, and the elevation, it's a dead straight shot, and when your disc is that high in the air, it's going to want to drift one way or other, so it's hard to keep it straight.
Yeah, very hard hole to birdie. And we'll see what Eagle can make of this hole. He looks like he's going a little bit left, but if it is far enough, he should be okay.
Yeah, it should trickle down over the hill. I'm sure he's going to have some trees to contend with, but hopefully he can find a line and get up and down.
Matty taking the more traditional. He's not looking to crest that hill. He's looking to place this in the perfect spots where he can then have a good upshot with his putter or mid-range down to the basket.
Yeah, if you pinch yourself up into the left, it's really hard to get your par. If you're up on the hill there, it's a little easier to get most of the way down that gap at least.
Yeah, you can see where Zach was trying to ask that to come back left. Now he's got to really curve something around this corner and down a very narrow gap to get to this basket location. Looks like he kept that a little bit wide, but yeah, he did. He clipped something early. It's going to be a tough putt for his birdie.
Well, that's not bad. He's got an easy up and down. He's probably 50 feet out, so he'll be able to give it a bid for his birdie, and in worst case, you get your par.
Yeah, and Matty with a great flick right down the gap. He's going to be inside the circle putting for birdie.
And this is where you want to be. You want to be able to see this basket off your second shot.
Oh, what a run at it. Oh, wow. What a great shot by Kevin. He has to be extremely happy with the way he just played this hole.
Yeah, he made this hole look easy.
Yeah, Eagle catching a early tree. He's going to have to lay up here for his par.
And yeah, you could see where he was. He had no direct line to the basket, no easy way to get up and down.
Yeah, you can definitely find yourself in a convenient position by cresting that hill off the drive, or you're going to find yourself in a tough shot, in a tough position where it's hard to get up and down.
Big putt out of Zach.
Come down and see. At the bottom of this green, you do have a bowl, and you can see these guys are well below the basket, so it makes putting back up at it tricky. Matty has made every uphill putt that he's thrown, so no different here.
Yeah, he's only 25 from there, but like you said, you kind of drop down into a little ditch or a bowl, and it just gives you something to think about when you're putting.
Yeah, Kevin with a great putt. Boy, that was just textbook way to play the hole.
Yeah, you can't play that any cleaner than what Kevin just did.
And we'll get to see Zach sticking one in with a great putt. Unfortunately, that's going to be for par for Zach. And then Eagle's going to get his par as well. Matty O with, a great putt to get his birdie. So that's two good putts, two good birdies by Matty O back-to-back there, which is exciting for him. He's getting himself right back into the mix of things. And now we go into a stretch of holes where you can get your twos. Hole number 13 is 405 feet, but most players are going to be throwing a mid-range and or putter down this gap, trying to keep it on a straight line all the way to the basket. There are a lot of trees, and there's a lot going on down at the green, so you can find some tricky areas. And maybe we'll get a chance to see Eagle go over the top here.
Yeah, this is a tricky hole once you get down towards the basket. A lot of trees inside the circle. You see this little ditch there, adds a little factor into it. And yeah, the big arms are going over the top and eliminating the trees on the drive.
Yeah, we saw Simon go over the top in earlier round coverage, and he ended up about 60 feet behind the basket with a very tough putt coming back up. So it's not a gimme to go over the top and let it crash into the trees down towards the basket.
And you can see Kevin definitely has plenty of power to be able to do that same shot. And he ends up in almost a similar spot as Simon was.
There you go. Yeah, and the cameraman had trouble trying to locate that one. I wonder who that was.
And Matty just wants that to turn a little more. That's kind of the shot. Put it out towards that big tree with just a slight amount of turn on it and let it head for the basket.
Well, he's going to have his work cut out for him to get up and down from there.
Yeah, anything that trickles down to the left, you lose a lot of lanes. It gets tricky to get up and down. And even if you pull it over to the right into those trees, it has softened up this year. They took a couple of the cedar trees out, so you can penetrate into there a little. But if you do get caught up in there, it is hard to get up and down.
Absolutely. Eagle electing to throw something fast and turning, and it didn't necessarily get the result that he wanted. Zach almost tried to do the same thing, it looked, and just kept that extremely low. So we'll see whether or not Zach can get up and down, or at least get close to the basket to get a putt at par. That's not close enough.
No, he's going to have 50, 60 feet. And it is a hill right behind this basket, too, from the angle that Zach's at. So running at this aggressive is tough.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you can see it. He's going to keep himself inside the circle, but not necessarily as close as you'd like to be. Eagle's going to keep himself close, hopefully close enough to wrap up his par. And here's where Kevin was with his drive. So he's got this very uphill putt between the trees for birdie, and unfortunately catches that limb. So he's not done yet.
That's a good cleanup out of him. And the rest of them should be right there, just tapping in for their par.
Yeah, you can see Eagle's disc stuck underneath that root right there, so he's reasonably close. Zach, a little bit of a tricky putt. Like I said, he's just inside the circle there, so he's got a little bit of work left as well.
A nice putt by Zach. He's going to card a bogey.
Yeah, where his drive ended up was a very difficult place to go ahead and salvage that par. So we'll see Matty O clean up here.
That was a good par out of Matty. You don't always have an easy line when it cuts off to the left and down the hill like Matty was.
The season is over, and it is time to order your 2019 Pro Tour trading cards. Top 50 MPO, top 15 FPO, plus our limited release specialty cards. Pre-orders are guaranteed at least one limited release specialty card in each pack or deck.
Walking up to a hole that is a huge downhill over water almost all the way. These are holes that you definitely want to get your twos on.
Yeah, you definitely, you want to be aggressive, try and get your twos, but you just want to stay away from the bogeys in this stretch too. You're coming down the home stretch, you definitely can't afford to take your bogeys, but you want to be aggressive and try and get your twos.
Yeah, so this plays 420 feet, and like I said, you're over water for 98% of the hole. However, there is OB as a pond on the left-hand side too, so you can't play this hole too safe and crash in too early. You really do have to play this hole aggressive. Anything on the left-hand side over there that's outside the circle, you're going to see most of the players are going to be laying up under the basket because you just have this death putt looking right at the water.
And yeah, the video here doesn't do it justice on how much it drops off to the right side of this basket where that mulch is. So we got Kevin hanging it way out over the water.
Bring it up.
Looking a little low, but hopefully can carry over.
Oh, that's great.
And that's a great shot.
That's inside the circle. He's putting. It is still a treacherous putt. Even from that distance, you can see how difficult of a look it is from these guys' perspectives. But he's where he needs to be for the putt.
And Matty not getting that as flat or out as over the water as much as he wants. He'll be probably just outside the circle, putting at the water.
So here's Eagle, and he has to be salivating a little bit when he steps up to a hole that's just a nice, easy hyzer shot for him. And he did go bogey in the first round. He got the birdie in the second round. And right there, he's putting it inside the circle to hopefully get his second birdie on this hole for the tournament.
Yeah, that was a great shot out of him. He kept it low, just trying to knife it into that side of the hill below the basket.
And that did not come out the way that Zach wanted it to. He will go ahead and head to the drop zone, which is not an easy shot from the drop zone either. You really just want to lay something up underneath the basket and take the thinking out of this.
Yeah, it's tough from over there. If you land to the right side of the basket from there, there's a good chance you're rolling in the water. So your mind's telling you to play safe out to the left, but if you play too far out to the left, you got a tough putt.
Yeah, you
at
leave
the water.
yourself a death putt. And Matty gave that a good run and ends up safe.
I don't think Eagle was intimidated by the water back there at
He
all.
was, yeah, he's not even paying attention. That's a putt that he makes 75 times a day. Oh, yeah, and Kevin putting it in there, squeaking it in.
He's happy it found that pocket.
Yeah. If it does come off that rim, there's a good chance that it rolls right over that log and into the water.
And Zach making good on his bogey.
He's going to clean up. And we're not going to see any big numbers on this hole, which is a very good thing. I think that most of the pros step up to this hole on calm conditions like we have today and say, okay, this is a time to get a stroke back. And they definitely want the 2.
Yeah, conditions were consistent all weekend. It was beautiful, pretty calm, no more than a 5 to 10 mile an hour wind. So.
Everything was dry. Everything was great. All the festivities up top were fantastic with Steve and his Disc Golf Pro Tour and doing all the putting competitions. I mean, we couldn't have asked for better weather and a better time.
Yeah, and here we are on hole 15, par 3, 355. Another one where you're throwing about 350 feet and trying to throw dead straight. You can play a little bit of the flip up and play a right side lane or throw it dead straight, but trees everywhere. And if you end up down in this pit, this lower area, you can't see the basket and you have trees in your way. You have some low foliage, so if you hit early, it is extremely hard to save your par.
The design of this hole is great because it forces the right-handed backhand player to play kind of to the left side of the green by going up that gap. And if you do cheat and go down that right-hand lane, there is a lot of stuff inside the circle there that can make putting tricky. So you've got to really think about where you want this shot to land off the tee.
And that was a great shot by Kevin, just bouncing just outside the circle.
But he'll have a wide open look at that basket.
Yeah, that's where you want to be.
Eagle leaving that to the left a little bit, and he is going to be down in the middle of that pit, which is going to make for a tricky upshot. That's not easy down there. There's a good amount of elevation going down and then back up. And Matty is going to take that right-hand route that we just talked about.
And yeah, just catches a late tree. He should have an easy up and down.
It looks like he's going to be just inside a circle, too. So, yeah, he should be able to get up and down. Zach catching an early tree and kicking left. So we'll see if he has a clean line to get up and down. And Eagle is staring at this, but he's looking at that hyzer route.
Yeah, he was fortunate enough to kick and stay in the middle of the fairway where he can still see the basket.
And a great upshot. He should be right next to it there, well inside the circle. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a tap in for Eagle. And you can see Zach obstructed by the trees inside the circle.
Oh, wow, that looked really good. Here's Matty with a tricky putt. He definitely has some trees to contend with there. It's almost like where you like to be is where Kevin ended up, because look at his putt. I mean,
Yeah,
he is
wide open.
He is wide open to try to put this in. Oh, wow.
Just coming up a little low and roll away.
And that rolled to circle edge there. I mean, he
Yeah.
is that rolled farther than I thought it did.
I know he's not happy about that. He's trying to make a move here at the end.
Zach just unfortunately did not put that in the middle of the chains.
Let's see if Kevin can make good on his comebacker. And he just went a little wide, too. I can almost guarantee Kevin's super frustrated right now. And there's always a little bit of a backup on hole 16. So he's got to stand there and
so
think
now you
about
gotta
what
think
just
about
happened. Hopefully he can use that time to cool down, forget about it, and pick it back up for the final 3 holes.
Yeah, most people at least want to get this hole 2 out of the 3 rounds. Eagle ended up taking par all 3 rounds on this hole, so he's got to be walking away pretty frustrated with his play on this as well.
Yeah, this is the first round that Matty's actually missed it. He got it the first 2 rounds. And now they'll have a little bit of a wait on hole 16, and hopefully they can gain their composure, gain some confidence, and get ready to attack these last 3 holes.
Yeah, this is not the easiest of holes stepping up to. Hole number 16 is 530 feet that plays downhill the entire way to the basket. Quite a bit of elevation change from tee to green. There are 2 gaps. You can go down the middle with something just straight and high speed, and you will find you get a lot of people inside the circle if they do hit that gap the right way. You can go down the right-hand side too. There's just more trees and there's more to deal with it down that right side. But you do have people that find the circle going down that right lane as well. So there's multiple ways to get there. We'll see what these guys do.
Yeah, you want to at least get to the top of the hill in the middle of the fairway. If you get stuck before the top of that hill, you're not going to be able to see the basket, and you're throwing up over the hill, and it's hard to control your flight when you're throwing up into the air.
Now, Eagle's turning this over down that right-hand side, and we'll see if it can flex back. And what a great shot. He is just outside circle, wide open with a putt.
Yeah, giving himself an opportunity to get momentum going here in the last 3 holes.
And Matty is going up the gut, but it is turning just a little bit right. And he did catch something late there.
But yeah, he's far enough down there. It shouldn't be any problem for him to get up and down, get his par.
Kevin has to throw that at like 50%.
And he got fortunate enough to kick and stay right in the middle on top of that hill. Nothing but a smooth putter from there.
Yeah, he should definitely be able to get up and down. And then Zach is trying to really make a move on this, but clipping that and going down is not what you want to do. That is how you make this hole difficult, as you can see by his next shot.
Yeah, not being able to see the basket going up and over the hill makes that hole really tough.
Here's Kevin, just get off that tree. Now he's going to have to really work with a good putt to save par.
Yeah, he's going to have about 50 feet left to save his par, which isn't what you want on this hole.
And this for Zach to be able to get up and down for his bogey. This is one of the more difficult par 3s on the course. And he just splits those trees and puts it within 10 feet, so he should have no problem with tapping that in.
Now we get down to MPO. Not a great spot, but you can find your lanes and get up and down pretty easy from where he was.
There's some areas that were swampy in there, but for the most part, the course has been in just immaculate condition.
Yeah, I think where Matty was, he was far enough left to not be in that super swampy area.
Eagle excited about that, giving a fist pump as he's running in his birdie putt from just outside the circle. He has had some really good putting percentages this weekend. And he just continues to show us how good of a player he is.
And the rest of these guys are just cleaning up here on hole 16.
Yeah, so we'll see Eagle. This is where he really excels. Is he doesn't miss many putts, and you can say that about the guys that are finishing on the top just about in every tournament. Those putts they don't miss. You know, when they step up, they have all the confidence in the world.
They make those 45-footers look like 25-footers. It's amazing watching these guys.
Yeah, we had some good discussions over the weekend about the Disc Golf Pro Tour and about baskets and and a lot of different areas, and making those shorter putts or those circle putts more interesting, because it seems like when we're watching, everybody is making those putts. So some good stuff coming, some good ideas being thrown around, and the leading pros in our sport actually taking part in some conversations about how to make our sport more interesting and more fan-friendly and so forth. Hole number 17 is no easy hole. These guys are going to have to throw a big shot over those Christmas trees and then hit a gap to get into the basket. It is probably one of the more scoreable par 4s on the course, though.
Yeah, it's probably one of the softer par 4s, but it's not easy. You have to have close to 400 feet of power to clear these Christmas trees, and the farther up that hill and the closer the gap, obviously the easier your upshot's going to be.
Eagle putting a move on this. It does look like it's fading a little bit too far to the right. but no, it goes right through the gap.
Yeah, he mashed that
wow.
thing. I think he was definitely trying to get it up into the basket for his tooth there.
Yeah, I mean, it has been eagled before, and we'll see whether or not Eagle can eagle it.
Yeah, actually, Greg Barsby got the 2 on here this weekend. I think he threw it in from about 120 feet or something.
Okay, so yeah, throw-in is different. I mean, but some of these guys literally can put this disc up through this gap and up towards the basket for a 2-putt.
And it doesn't get much better than where Kevin just put it. That was pretty routine right there.
That's where, if you could walk out and place a disc in the middle of the fairway, I think that's where just about everybody would put it.
Yeah, if you're being...
What a great rollout by for Zach there. That put him right in the middle. He was going to be tucked up a little bit, but...
You can see how easy that was for Kevin. He just stepped up, nice little putter shot, 100 foot.
Yeah, and you can see if you do get left, Matty's dealing with some crazy trees in there.
Yeah, Matt.
And that was a great shot to be able to hit that gap with some nice touch and keep it right there next to the basket.
Very good scrambling out of Matty.
And that was pretty routine out of Zach, too.
Let's see where Eagle ended up, and he's not in a good place.
Yeah.
Eagle is really having to finagle a shot, but well done.
Yeah, he didn't have the opportunity to run a putt. He was just looking for a hole to get out and get himself into putting range.
But he does. I mean, he has the birdie opportunity here, which he will capitalize on. So great birdie for Eagle.
And yeah, the rest of these guys will be cleaning up. And this was a hole that was great to Matty O all weekend. He got this one every single round, which is expected. Like we said, this is one of the softer par fours.
Sure.
These guys throwing 500 feet are getting within that 150 feet of this and being able to throw a nice, easy putter-up shot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we saw a great putt out of Eagle in the first round from down below the basket, and he did get it every round as well.
And yeah, this is one they elevated the basket this year. I think they tried to make it a little harder. This is one that I see them trying to change something in years to come to try and make this one a little harder.
I'm Spence with MVP, and I'm out at the course today to talk to you guys about the long-awaited Neutron Deflector. The Neutron Deflector is an extremely overstable mid-range, able to stand up to any headwind and any power. No matter the shot, count on the deflector's ability to fight out of a turn in order to flex and shape your line to get you to the basket.
Because it is a little bit of that soft par 4.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. Especially when you have a hole like hole number 9 that is a hard par 3, and weighing out that stuff is an interesting task for Mr. Dodge. Hole number 18, he did end up making a move on this to spread this hole out a little bit more, gain some length on it, drop the tee box back and down, which makes the tee shot definitely more difficult. And you're really looking to get something just past these willow trees, right in the middle of the fairway, and set yourself up for an easy 4.
Yeah, this is one where I feel moving that tee pad back is making these elite pros make the decision on whether they want to go for it or not on their second shot. Previous years, they were able to get almost all the way up to that wall, which made it a no-brainer for them to pitch across and get their birdie, where this year they're going to have to be in a good spot and throw a good shot to get up into that green for their birdie.
And Eagle just letting that go very early, hitting a tree left, and he is not going to be happy with where he just ended up.
No, now was not the time he needed his worst drive of the round.
Yeah. Matty getting one out there, but he is leaking that a bit to the right, which isn't ideal either. You really want something in the middle where you can just get off a good shot up the hill to lay up for your 4.
And yeah, he's stuck in that tree yet too, so he's going to have a tough time to get himself into a comfortable spot to feel confident about pitching over to the island.
Yeah, Kevin just absolutely destroyed that up the hill. If you're past the little rock, the second rock little access path that they put in there, then you know that you have just blasted that drive.
And this is a great shot.
Wow. What a fantastic drive that was, Zach. He outdrove Kevin there.
And that's saying something.
Mm-hmm.
You can see how difficult of a spot Eagle was in.
Yeah, and he threw kind of a sky flick roller just to get up there into position, and then he's going to have to make a move at the green from there. Matty putting himself into a layup position where he can just pitch a putter up and walk away with his par. With that move, I think that they took the thinking out of most of the field, because most of the field where they thought they could get the 3 previously now is conceding a 4.
And that is a great shot.
That was unbelievable. Yeah, what a fantastic approach shot out of Eagle to go ahead and be able to have a tap-in par.
Kevin was putting it in. That was awesome.
Great shot. You can see the crowd sitting on the other side of the rock wall. One of the most exciting parts about this tournament is the spectators and everyone having a good time. And everyone putting it into the green. You get those big roars and you get the crowd really excited.
Yeah, this is one of the most iconic finishing holes. It's always great. Your peers, your fellow competitors are sitting there watching you come in after your round's over, cheering your name.
You've got the
rooting for you.
leaderboard. You've got all this stuff set up to make this really have the feel of one of the best disc golf tournaments run all year long.
And that was a great finish out of Zach and Eagle.
Yeah, so these guys are going to wrap up, and we're going to have just a great tournament. Thank you, MVP, for running a great event, taking over the reins. Steve Dodge and the family and everybody who participates in getting this tournament ready. It is an overwhelming task, and we thank you very much for everything that you've done. Thanks to allowing Tea Time Productions to come out and kind of be the new guy on the block and cut our teeth here and figure out how hard it is to do tournament coverage week in and week out. And we certainly give a big thanks to everybody who's come before us that makes this stuff possible. But thank you, Tea Time Disc Golf, and everything that you guys do.
Yeah, and congrats, James Conrad, on your win.
Yeah, what an amazing win by James Conrad. Thank you very much, everybody, and we'll see you next time.